Hello guys, in this video I will install PHP, FPM, Jinx, Postgres and after that Totum on Ubuntu. I have no idea how to pronounce it correctly, but it's very cool and cheap virtual server around the world with a simple configuration console. I'm very excited by the and it's not a commercial, it's true. Of course, use this video and instruction, you may configure any other Ubuntu servers for Totum, not only Ubuntu. We'll just skip first minute with a server deploy. Under this video and in instruction on our site you will find the Ubuntu referral code. If you register with it, we will get $10 for our account. 1000% we will not grow rich with this money, but we will pay by it for our demo server. Next I will speak on my native, but you will have some English translation. Окей, погнали. Я выберу самый
Okay, let's go. I will choose the cheapest option with shared CPUs where not only you but also other members on the server use the same cores. I'll choose here. This is AMD High Performance. And here you can choose any location that you want, that's closer to you. I'll take London, and we'll install it on Ubuntu 20. Next year, when it's already 22 everywhere, I'll do a manual for 22, it's a little different there. And I will need this configuration for the demo server. 2 cores, 2 GB of memory. This is quite enough for a small project on Totum. I will disable the backup, you can leave it if you need it. And disable IPv6, I don't need it. That is only $18 a month, and I will call this server Totum Demo. Okay, I deploy and wait a while until the image is installed. Here we have information that the server is up and running. We'll go inside. We will need this IP address. I'm going to go ahead and point my domain at that IP address. This is the domain I will use for the installation. We need it to check that Totum works. We will connect to this IP as root, and the password is here. I won't show it now. And then we connect. I use Tabby. I already have the data saved here to connect to this server. Here I am inside. I will also need a manual. Here it is, and I'm going to do this installation right on this manual. You can find it on our website. The first thing we do, we update the repositories. Wait, install some additional software that we need. Okay. It's already here. In this image, it is already set. Let's see, connect the PHP repository. Here you have to press enter. Okay, let's clean it up. And we're doing it again. Done. And now we're installing all kinds of useful software. I really like how fast everything works on these servers. We add a user Totum, from whom the system will work. Install PHP. Totum currently uses version 8.0. It took me about 20 seconds. Install additional PHP modules and wait for them to install. Okay, it's done. Clean it up and see if the PHP FPM we're going to use is on autorun. And if it's not, we turn it on. But it has to be. We need to stop Apache, which is on by default, and disable Apache from autorun. Here we are all set. Now we can start configuring PHP by creating an FPM pool config. That's it, we have a clean file, and I'll take this configuration here. If you want, you can change this block here. There's a description for it. Here it is now set. These numbers right here are set to 2 GB of RAM. Well, you can also give more, for example, RAM just for Totum, depending on how much is on your server. And there's a limit of 10 megabytes for downloadable files. If you need more, put more. Okay, we press Ctrl X Y enter, save. It doesn't say it here yet, but there is actually a default config. It is on this path and it can be removed. It's done by We type in this address here, the double tab shows what we have. Here's Totum Conference. www conference, that's the one by default. We start typing it, we press tab and it autofills and we can delete it. Now we have to restart the FPM server.
сервер FPM.
That's how it's done, and we can test that it works.
Он работает, все с ним хорошо. Вот у нас
He's okay.
FPM.
Here we have FPM active and it's running from the user Totum.
Пользователя Totum. Это для нас
This is very important to us for safety. Get out of here, Q. We re-scrolling through it.
Мы устанавливаем, вот это мы пролистываем. Дальше мы устанавливаем PostgreSQL.
Next we install PostgreSQL.
Окей, ждем.
apt install Postgres. Okay, wait.
Postgres установился, нам нужно...
Postgres is installed and we need to open its console.
Postgres.
And here we need to create a user Totum.
Пользователя Totum, и вам нужно
And you need to replace the password here with your password.
Ваш пароль.
Enter.
Вот у нас создалась.
Here we have a role created. Now we will create a database.
Вот так вот.
That's it. And assign the database user Totum all rights to the Totum database.
И теперь, чтобы выйти отсюда,
And now we need a /Q enter to get out of here.
Вот так вот. Дальше мы
Next we install Nginx. apt install Nginx.
Ждем.
Wait. Okay, and create config Nginx.
Config Nginx.
Let's do it this way. Here instead of domain zone you need to specify your domain so that you can easily find it later. I have a demo.totum.online. And here we copy our config. We need here to replace UIP with the IP of your server. And if our server has one IP, you can put an asterisk like this. And it is have to replace the domain zone with your domain. If you will have only one base and one config here, you can put an underscore like this. But I'm going to have a few different schemes here. I will add demo totum online. Copy all of this here. Copy it. Put it here. Here I see I have a mistake here. That's it, demo totum online. Okay, Control X and enter and we need to enable this setting. Now it should be pointed out that this setting is available for use by Nginx. That's how it's done. We create a symbolic link and here instead of domain zone you have to insert your domains. Then we check the config for Nginx. It says there is nothing wrong with the syntax and we restart Nginx, service Nginx restart. Now we copy the totem, go to the user, super user totem. I will clean all of this. We go to the home directory and we will install totem accordingly in the home directory, so we know where it is. We copy from the Git repository, go to created folder. Next we copy the composer. Done. Install composer. It's done. Delete the composer installer and now deploy all the composer modules. That's the way it is. It's done. And then a little piece that is relevant specifically for Vultr servers. I don't know if this is found elsewhere, but here in the image that is installed, iptables blocked connections on port 80 and 443 by default. So what do we need to do? We need to go back to root, exit. Next we need to add this command, execute, to accept on port 80 and on port 443. Let us check that it really works. Here we have accept from everywhere by HTTP and HTTPS. And we need to install a feature that will save this when the server reboots. This is the state of iptables. Set this. Yes, and you need to have 2 yes answers so that it immediately saves the current iptables settings and the next time you start the server service they will be restored. Okay, we're going back to Totum. You can check at once if port 80 is available by looking at iptables, or you can try to connect to the address you delegated. And you should see an installation page like this. If you cannot, then check iptables, maybe you are also blocked in iptables. Then you can do it in 2 ways. You can fill out this form here and click Create Config and fill in the scheme. What we fill in here, we choose the language here, choose the type of installation and leave the rest. Here is localhost. You need to enter the name of the database. This is Totum, the username Totum and the password you set for the database user. There's no change here. Here you will need to come up with a superuser password admin and specify your email address to which the cron identifications will be sent. This is the first way. The second way is to install through the console. This is done in the following way. I'll go back to the Totum MIT folder here. Let's clean. Here it is, installation from the console. Replace a few things in this command and run it. First, here type pass here is for the superuser Totum. Here you have to set the password that you made up. The language is specified here. In our case it will be English. Your manual by default will have English, EN. And here you need to specify the database password, which you set when you created the database. I think we put in a test pass there. What's changing here that's also very important. Here, your domain input changes to your domain address. And here is your email for cron notifications. Okay, we copy this command here, press enter. And when we see done, it means that everything is installed. We can open our browser and go to this address and we will no longer see the installation page, but the password entry page. I had an admin there. Okay, we see the start messages. You can close them, read them and close them. Now Totum works. The only other thing we need to do is configure crons and make the connection over SSL. Let's go back to the console. Okay, to install crons. The default setting is multi-install and we need crons for multi. We just take this command. Execute it whole, and we can check. crontab -e. Remember that crontab is a risky command. If you type -r you will delete all crontab commands. At the first startup you will have to say, I recommend, what we want to open with nano. And we see here 3 crons that run the different elements Totum, Ctrl-X, exit. Just closed because there is no change. If for some reason you set no multi this is when one base, one scheme, the command would be this. Just in case, there's a second option. Now we have to go back to root and configure XSIM so that we can send mail properly. We change to root and here we have to enter the password for root. This is the first way. The other way, because we are in the user Totum also by superuser. We can call exit. We go back to root. We install XSIM. Okay, and we need to do a reconfiguration. That's it. Here I have pictures. Here we have to choose the top one. Next, right here, we write the address of our domain. I have a demo Totum online. Okay, enter. Here we simply leave 128.0.0.1. This picture and all the following ones. You can erase everything here. Next, okay. 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 Now let's check the inbox. Yes, leave it as it is here. Here's the next one. Leaving everything blank. This completes the configuration of XSIM. I cleared the messages here and the settings we made for XSIM specifically on Vultr are not enough for the emails to be sent. The fact is that it happens on other servers. Outgoing port 25 is blocked and you need to contact technical support to unblock it. In order for you to be able to send messages directly from Totum. Okay, the next thing we're going to explain this Let's Encrypt installation for SSL certificates, because right now our Totum works over an unsecured HTTP connection. And in order to fix this, we install certbot. We answer why. Wait for it to set up. Next, we create settings. Okay. Open and copy this here. We press Ctrl-X, Y, enter. Create a folder for checking. It's done. Create a test HTML file. Now let's register our certbot by replacing this email here. To your email,
slash email, enter, отвечаем
Answer A and answer N.
отвечаем нет, очистим.
Now clear.
Теперь создаем
Create Nginx configuration file.
и говорим туда вот это, Ctrl-X.
Ctrl-X-Y enter. Next, we open our Nginx configuration file.
Здесь у нас
Here we have domain zone we have to replace with our domain address.
адрес нашего домена.
Enter.
И нам нужно добавить
And we need to add include acme
вот
somewhere here after expires off.
expires off. Вот так.
Ctrl-X-Y enter.
Y, enter. И мы
And we reset the Nginx settings.
Service Nginx reload. Okay. С этого
From this
момента
point we can
мы
check by
можем
opening our
проверить
example in the browser at the address of the domain that we have connected.
в браузере по адресу того домена,
And we
который
should
у
see
нас
the phrase
записан.
success.
И мы должны увидеть фразу
This means that the certificate validation mechanism works.
проверки сертификатов будет работать. Возвращаемся
Let's go
обратно,
back.
и мы можем удалить
We can delete the
проверочные.
check file.
Окей.
Okay, now we are getting a
Получаем
certificate,
сертификат, но пока в
but for
closed
now in
режиме.
idle mode.
Проверяем, что у нас все работает.
That is,
Ее
we check that
домейн
everything
меняет
works. We
адрес нашего
replace your
домена.
domain with our domain address, enter,
И мы
wait.
должны увидеть вот такое
And
вот
we should see
сообщение
such a
о
message
том,
that the
что
dry run
был
was
выполнен
successful.
успешно.
Now we get a
Получаем
real SSL
уже
certificate.
настоящий
Here the
сертификат.
domain
Здесь
zone
вместо
place,
домена
replace it with the address of our domain,
его на адрес нашего домена. Enter.
enter.
Ждем, пока
Wait
он
until we have a
сертификат.
certificate issued.
Вот все проверки были выполнены.
Here are all the
Все
checks that have been
означает, что
done.
всё успешно.
This
Нам
message means that
нужно
everything was
теперь
successful and we now need to reopen the Nginx settings.
открыть Nginx.
We recently opened this and can use the saved commands by pressing the up key.
Воспользоваться клавишами наверх и из
Look for the
последнего
command to open our
команд
Nginx settings.
открыть
And we need to
наши
make a few
настройки
changes
Nginx.
here.
Нам
What
здесь
we're
нужно
saying here is that we're now listening to port 443 over SSL, not 80.
80, а 443 порт и вот так вот SSL. Это первое.
This is first.
А второе, нам нужно вот это вот
We need to
скопировать.
copy this here after include acme, and replace here these domain zones with the domain we used to get the certificate.
И заменить здесь вот эти вот
There are
домены
three places.
на тот домен, который мы использовали для получения сертификата. Здесь три места таких. Раз,
1, 2, and 3.
три.
And we also need to add a
Нам нужно
redirect from
добавить
HTTP to
реадресацию с
HTTPS.
HTTPS. Мы листаем сюда в конец.
We scroll to the end and add here one more section server which will redirect to HTTPS for all domains. We can add here that only for demo Totum online.
Можем добавить вот сюда, что для демо Totum онлайн она будет переадресовывать на HTTPS.
Press Ctrl-X-Y enter, save. We need to restart Nginx again. Here it comes. And now we can see our totem. It will be redirected to HTTPS and now everything will work over a secure protocol. And the last thing we need to do, we need to put a certificate reissue in the cron tab -E. We copy this one here. Scroll down. Make sure to enter here. The last line should be blank. If there is no empty line, it will not work. And here instead of 42, enter any number from 1 to 59 that you like. For example, it will be 24. Now Ctrl-X-Y enter, and that's it. We can use Totum. There are still some things I haven't covered in this video. For example, adding additional domains to the certificate and changing the time zone on the server. But it's not hard to figure it out on your own. That's all. Successful use.